Qatar Airways quality is dropping like a rock. This and other things have recently been the headlines, so I will check for you whether this isn't just clickbait again. And the result was, well, take a look for yourself. We'll check every box, and I'll also explain how you can fly here without being a top earner or having it paid for by the company. I'll give a few valuable tips for booking Qatar Airways, and you can win something nice today. More about that in the report. Before we get started, there's a really important topic, even in business class: luggage, because things work differently here than with European or US carriers. What you should really know about Qatar Airways business class is that you can only check in 40 kilograms of luggage as opposed to 2 times 32 kilograms with all European airlines, and also just a few only Asian airlines. And there's only a few exceptions that do that. Otherwise, all the other Asian carriers and also the Gulf carriers from the Arab Peninsula allow only 40 kilograms of checked luggage. And quite often you get to see real dramas here at check-in when people come to the business class counter, check in the luggage, and they have to pay a lot of overweight luggage. So just to let you know. And while we're talking about luggage, here's a really good one that I received from Level8 for testing and that I don't want to be without anymore. The large suitcase holds oversized things, and the aluminum hand luggage is particularly great because its quality and features are on par with other luxury brands, and like a safe on soft wheels, it moves almost by itself. With the link and discount code in the video description, you as my viewers will receive a special discount. Enjoy shopping. In addition to the famous lounges in Doha, Qatar Airways has premium lounges in 5 other locations. Unfortunately, Frankfurt is not one of them, so here's just an I was here photo, and let's go straight to the plane. But don't miss to check out the 2 reports about the incredible first class and business lounges in Doha here on Travel Sing Fly. Well, the lounge is not great. The Qatar lounge here in Munich, I mean, that's actually an airport lounge that Qatar Airways uses here, and it's just not a nice lounge. And you know, just next door is Emirates, and there you don't get that. You have always the same level of service and quality actually at Emirates lounges worldwide. Have a look at my channel. You'll find the by far biggest and most complete lounge report about Emirates on all of YouTube. And it's, I think, quite nice checking out, quite fun to watch, with lots of food, of course. So that was a real on-body security check. Can be really happy that I didn't put on some boxer shorts in the morning. You'll find a whole series about Qatar Airways on Travel Sing Fly, and this is the 3rd QSuite report from the so-called best business class in the world, which you cannot get on all Qatar flights. Here we're sitting. Upon boarding we got some wet towel, and that's actually a packed wet towel here, but a very nice one by Diptyque, so that's a really great brand. Then we got a selection of welcome drinks that was regular champagne or rosé champagne, or the signature drink, which is lemon mint juice, but it's a really very good lemon mint juice, so really great. And then we got the menus, so that's a drink list and the food menu. And of course, flying on Qatar business class is always kind of a restaurant experience with really good cuisine, so this is gonna be really interesting. We have a look at that later. And we got also the Amenity kit. That's this one here by Diptyque. That's a really very nice brand from Paris. Really good brand. And you can win 2 of these exclusive Amenity kits again. More on this later in the report. And our next tour is backwards. What the Tiger and I wanted to say, if you go on QSuites, there's a couple of seats that go backwards and a couple of seats that just go forward. So that's how they have the seat configuration here. And I actually like the backward seats because you can very easily see the wingtips here. Looking backwards, but you don't have to turn your head, you just look there, so that's really nice. Of course, some people don't like it, like on trains. There's some seats that go backwards, some go forward. Yeah, you just need to know that. So we've not reached our cruising altitude yet, but the purser just came by and said hello. And the great thing about Qatar Airways, except for in addition to the menu and the great drinks, is that the staff here is so well trained. And I mean, their signature, more or less Qatar signature, is that they have this very friendly, enthusiastic staff. And I know that's kind of a rule book, but it doesn't come through as a rule book. It's really very friendly staff, very excited, and you can feel the excitement about it. And that's very special about Qatar Airways, unique actually. Anyway, now we could also close the door, because here now my god, it's so different from any other airline. Every time I think the same.
Really?
Everything is so much, it's honest.
It's nice. That's amazing.
Now also the door can be closed, you see, like this, and then you get really a lot of privacy. And I mean, there's some more airlines now that have closing doors. However, for example, have a look at my British Airways Club Suites report. The Club Suites are the best seat product of British Airways in business class right now, but their doors end like here, so they go until here, and that's the space you have, not like this, and they also go until here. So here where my eyes are, so there's no privacy actually. You see the whole staff, you see everybody can see you, and here when I sit here I see maybe the top of the head of somebody who's walking by, and that was it. So that's really a lot of privacy, and that's very special. That makes Qatar's QSuite still so special, because you have all this space and you have doors that goes up till here, like in the best first class cabins actually. You don't have as much space as in first class, but for the rest it's very private.
Here's some good news. Travel-Fly is finally available as a website. It's in German, but works very well in other languages with a translation tool. Expect numerous articles about airlines, hotels and travel destinations worldwide, about collecting miles and points, as well as practical tips for more enjoyable travel. There's also topics that don't appear here on YouTube, and guest contributions from travel professionals and travelers alike are also planned. So check it out. I look forward to seeing you there.
We just crossed over Vienna and lunch serving is starting now, and it started first of all with a very nice table, because they really took care that the tablecloth, for example, is really covering the whole table. That's quite rare, to be honest. And then we have a nice bread basket, 3 different kinds of bread with dried tomatoes, with raisins, and without anything, just regular bread. And then we got some dips, that's olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and a spicy lemon, so that's lemon with chili, and of course some butter, and then some amuse-bouche, so that's really nice. That's a smoked salmon roll.
In terms of cuisine, Qatar Airways has been offering one of the highest levels, or maybe the highest, of all business classes in the world. That's why I'm dedicating a separate report about the food, beverages and services in business and first class. But here's an overview of what's on offer on this flight. Qatar Airways doesn't do fixed meal times in business class, but there's a dine-on-demand system instead. You can eat anything on the menu in any quantity and order at any time you wish. On this flight there's a choice of soup, 2 starters, 4 main courses, a cheese platter and 2 desserts, as well as small snacks. When it comes to drinks, they have 5 mocktails and 9 different cocktails, plus spirits, beer and soft drinks. Even more special, however, is their wine list that offers way higher quality than almost all other airlines in the world. There's always 2 good champagnes, 3 white and 3 red wines, a dessert wine and usually 20-year-old port wine, which elsewhere you would get only in first class. Only Emirates, with their own wine cellars in France, offers a similarly high quality. At times during the COVID crisis, Qatar Airways was the only airline flying when they did all the repatriation flights back then. During the crisis, they also stood out as more or less the only airline that provided full service with high safety measures. While British Airways, for example, served bubbly in plastic cups, Turkish only had sealed fast food, and the Lufthansa Senator Lounge had only water and a pretzel on offer, while the full program was being served in Doha. And with that memory, let's go back to our plane again and have the main course and red wine.
We're sitting here in an Airbus A350 of Qatar Airways, and that's not really such a given because not much time ago Qatar Airways and Airbus had a huge fight over the A350 fleet because they said that some of the surface painting would go off the planes. Anyway, they had to look for other planes as a substitute, and it was quite tough for Qatar Airways, so in the end it all got fine. They were flying the Airbus A350 all along again, so much ado but nothing, more or less. And anyway, the Airbus A350 is a really nice plane. I love it really very much. It's so quiet. Traveling in here is so quiet, more than on other planes, except for the Airbus A380. Of course, that's the champion of silent traveling, silent flying. But other than that, this is really a fantastic plane. What's really very important when booking a Qatar Airways flight is to see what airplane you're gonna be on, what aircraft. Just like with Emirates, if you're on an Airbus A380 with Emirates in business class, that's fantastic. You have a board bar, you have a really good seat. If you're on a Boeing 777, you're really not gonna be so happy because the business class there really is not great. It really sucks, actually. It's a very bad business class when you compare it to other airlines in 2023. On an Airbus A380 it's great. However, on Qatar Airways it's a different story. On an Airbus A380 you will not get very good seats. You will have a board bar, an on-board bar, but the seats are not great. That's the Collins Super Diamond seat, and I'm not a big fan of them anymore today in 2023-24. But you also get the Super Diamond seats on the Boeing 787-8, for example, so that's really not so great. However, when you're on an Airbus A350-1000, you get this QSuite. Another thing, just to make it more complicated, Qatar Airways is really infamous for changing the aircraft at last notice. So you should really have a look a couple days before the flight, or even some weeks before the flight already, if you still have the same aircraft. Normally they also send out emails if something has changed. Anyway, you should really make sure that you are in a QSuite if you want to have really amazing flight experience. Of course, you're going to have the great service on any business class, but it makes all the difference between this really big privacy seat or a regular business class seat that you get in all other planes or all other airlines anyway. So that makes really a big difference, and you should really, really watch out for it. It's actually quite funny, you know. You sit there and eat your cheese and look out a little, and then you see actually you're going backwards, and you don't really realize during the flight. You just see it when you look outside. And over there, I'm in the first row, and then back there is the ring actually, and we're going backwards. So that's actually quite special. I'm still in the middle of my cheese platter here, but I don't want to forget to mention that what is also really special about Qatar Airways is their entertainment system. I know that Emirates actually is the leader for that. They still have the biggest one, but I think they should be the second biggest one, because Oryx One, that's the name of their entertainment system, has more than 4,000 choices. Amazing.
With Oryx One, Qatar Airways offers one of the best entertainment programs of all airlines in the world, with hundreds of movies from all cultures and endless series, documentaries, games, meditations and a beautiful flight show. The Airbus A350 also has external cameras, so you can see your own aircraft, which is especially great during takeoff and landing. The monitor screen is crystal clear and the remote control is responsive and intuitive, and you can also watch the entertainment on the remote control if you want, and at the same time have the flight show running on the monitor screen. The headphones are of course noise cancelling, and the time passes pretty quickly in all classes.
We're above the Turkish-Iranian border right now, and we're having dessert. And well, I need to just listen to myself what I just said, but that's how it is, like on many Qatar Airways flights every day in the world. Anyway, we're having dessert, and that's very nice chocolate raspberry cake. It looks very beautiful.
And for these 6 hours of flight, it's better to forget about the calorie table. Luckily, you won't gain any weight on a flight, I guess, right?
So that's also something that really sets Qatar Airways apart from the other airlines. I mean, you have, of course, the very good quality of the appetizers, you have the very good wine list, then you have this cheese platter, but then you also have this dessert. And you know, I mean, this looks so beautiful. It's so beautifully presented with this little kind of deconstructed chocolate something, and then you have the fresh fruit and so on. It's just really elevated cuisine that you get here on an airline, here just above the Turkish-Iranian border on the flight to Doha. So that's really something. And this is not first class, it's business class.
But as I said, we'll go into more detail in a dedicated report just about the catering at Qatar Airways. And now we talk about what you can win here, and that's something nice, the Amenity Kit. The new Qatar Airways Business Class Amenity Kit is a gift box from the Parisian luxury label Diptyque, and it contains high-quality face cream, body lotion, lip cream, as well as a small perfume bottle from Diptyque, socks and a sleeping mask, as well as earplugs. When departing from Doha, you will receive the same products not in a box, but usually in a small faux leather bag in different designs for men and women. I'm giving away one Amenity Kit each on my German and English channels, and here's how you can win. Subscribe to Travel/Fly on Facebook and Instagram and comment on a post about the QSuite report, or write me a direct message. I will announce the winners at the end of February. Additionally, Qatar Airways is one of the very few airlines in the world that offer pajamas in business class. They're branded by the White Company and are of good quality. There are also slippers, and you can take all of this with you after the flight.
So when lying down, you have even more privacy of the already very big privacy, because you don't see anything at all anymore from the rest of the cabin. You just hear the sounds, and that was it. And lying down, you have actually quite a nice leg room. It could be more, of course, because of course the old seats you had unrestricted leg room, because you don't have
this kind of single seats. But here you have the single seat. It's your own little tiny little studio apartment, more or less. Well, maybe not an apartment, but it's really nice space and very private. And it's amazing to fly here more than, of course, just 5.5 hours. So that's really, really nice. So the tiger is back and we're approaching into Doha already. How was the flight? Well, Qatar QSuite is just a different class on itself, by itself, because you have this really amazing space. You have this table, you have a dining table, then you have a place to lie down, you have a little kind of seat next to you, and compartments to store your things. You have a nice seat and you have a lot of space, and once you lie down you don't see anything of the cabin anymore, so that's a lot of privacy. You just need to know that on the other planes that don't have a QSuite, it's a different story. If you're on the Airbus A380, for example, on the Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, it's not very great seats, as I said before. And also if you're, for example, on the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, that's with the doors, that's also another story, because it's so much less space. The doors here and goes only until here, so it's a different story again. The QSuite is really the place where you should go to, and that's available on all Airbus 350s 1000 and also quite a lot of 350-900s and quite a lot of Boeing 777s, but not all of them. So you should really make sure you're on one of those planes. However, the service is the same on all those planes. It's really great service. The staff is amazing. How they're trained in their hospitality is really wonderful. So altogether, a really nice flight, and I'm really looking forward to get to another one.
Flying Qatar Airways business class has become quite expensive, but you can still use miles to book the QSuite experience without breaking the bank. In addition to flying a lot, you can generate miles in two other ways: by purchasing miles or by transferring Amex credit card points. Via Cathay Pacific Asia Miles, a flight from Munich to Doha costs only 33,000 miles, but Asia Miles charges high fees on this route. It's therefore better to book directly via the Avios programs of British Airways or Qatar Airways. When there's a special offer, you can regularly buy Iberia or British Airways Avios and then transfer them to Qatar Airways. It's even cheaper to transfer Amex points for the necessary 43,000 Qatar Avios from Germany to Doha, or just 45,000 all the way on to Dubai or Muscat. So you see, it's possible to book such a beautiful flight for significantly less than the regular price. You can find these and other valuable tips on the Travel Fly website.
So my dear ones, we've landed in Doha. I hope you liked the report. If yes, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I really recommend you to watch this movie here, this video right away. It's really worth it. See you again very soon here at Travel Sing Fly.